Scene.
Yeah, you're seeing it in our split screen right now, but let's play some of that video. Again, we want to stress this is not happening right now, but this is video from earlier. We have two witness videos of the shooting. So this is one from Sacred Heart School, and here's the other one. Again, this is from earlier, a little bit after 2 o'clock this afternoon this broke out. The governor's office telling us that police officers have been shot in this. He tweeted out a little bit earlier, 11 minutes ago. He's been briefed on the unfolding situation. Thoughts and prayers are with the men and women of the Jersey City Police Department, especially with the officers, Eric, you pointed out it was plural, shot during this standoff, and with the residents and school children currently under lockdown. We have confirmed one person is down. We're still trying to figure out what exactly down means. Jersey City Police obviously very focused on this right now, so they are asking, begging parents, please do not call the police station right now. They need to keep their lines open to resolve this situation. But that school that we were talking about where preschool through 8th graders go, Sacred Heart, we do understand that is under lockdown. Also, state police telling us they've got K-9 unit, the bomb unit, Marine Services, aviation, field ops, tactical patrol, Central Security, trafficking, emergency response, all helping out Jersey City Police. We've seen that video, Eric, of them walking in a line with weapons drawn. And
sadly, this is a scene that we have seen far too often, but this is a scene that we are continuing to follow, this active shooter situation. We've been talking about Sacred Heart. Yeah. We have Sister Frances from Sacred Heart joining us live on the phone right now. Sister Frances, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. First, just confirm for us, everybody's okay, right?
That's right. I want all the parents to know that all of the children are fine. And we are safe, and we're grateful to the Jersey City Police for helping us maintain that safety.
Thank goodness.
I don't know what's going on right now.
Sister, can you just kind of walk us through what exactly you guys heard and the response when you started hearing these shots, if you heard them?
It was about 12:15 we heard shots. And right away we went into a lockdown situation, and that's about. We're not able to look out on Martin Luther King Drive, the windows, so I really don't know what happened.
Right, because part of that lockdown drill, you guys stay away from the windows, of course.
That's right, and we all went on the one side of the building, the side that was not facing MLK Drive, where the shooting was happening. Across the street, I believe, in the Jewish delicatessen or grocery store. Okay.
So you can see the kosher supermarket from the windows on that side of the building, correct?
That's right, but we all moved to the opposite side.
Now, what about parents? I imagine that the phone has been ringing off the hook there with parents wanting to know whatever you can tell them.
Well, we did send out a message to all the parents letting them know that their children are safe.
Sister, at Sacred Heart, you guys have some very young children, preschool, I understand.
That's correct.
How are I'm sure your faculty is doing an amazing job. What are you guys telling them to comfort them right now?
Well, we're actually asking them to please stay on the opposite side of the building and just to stay in the lockdown. I have to go. The police are at the door, okay?
Okay,
yes.
All right,
Sister
thank
Frances,
you.
All right, Kurt, you mentioned the students, Jersey City Public School District saying all student staff are safe, but they also said the students will not be dismissed until they receive clearance. We're hearing that they are working on a dismissal plan right now, but the most important thing is they say all students are accounted for and safe. So there's that. And we also know that Bayonne, they're doing a lock in place as well as a precaution as well, too.
Well, that's another part of it, too. When I was over at the map, Bayonne is, half a mile the other way. So when this began to unfold, you don't necessarily know where those suspects are going to drive to. They leave the cemetery. Well, they went northeast on MLK. But I tell you what, if they go southwest, they're going to wind up in Bayonne. So that's why these kids, the school district, Bayonne Public Schools, took no chances as well today. The initial information was that these suspects, heavily armed, are driving somewhere. So, yeah, you lock down all of the county pretty much at that point.
And we know that Mayor Fulop was saying he's not treating this as a terrorist incident right now, but also that U-Haul truck, officers were treating that as if there were pipe bombs inside. I mean, more to be followed there to see if that's exactly true, but we do know that is the case at this point.
And again, the latest information, the number is 5 inside the store. 5 bodies found inside the store. 2 suspects, presumably 3 civilians, 3 workers, 3 people. God bless them, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time today.
Mayor Fulop, after he gave his presser, he also was tweeting. I want to read that to you. Let me just try and pull it up right now. And he says, 2 officers struck by gunfire. One of the officers tragically has given his life. 2 other officers receiving medical treatment at the JCMC for injuries unrelated. Please keep your officers in your prayer. And then for parents, he writes, we still have an active scene, but all the schools in the area are secure and all children accounted for. So there's that from Mayor Fulop. We're just wrapping up a news conference. It was with Jersey City's Mayor Steve Fulop, also the police chief Mike Kelly. He has identified the officer that was killed. It's Detective Joseph Seals, a father of 5, more than 15 years on the force there.
Chief Kelly, we were just watching him delivering his comments and telling us what he knows so far, stressing that it's preliminary. His eyes, his glassy, his tone was unmistakably somber. He spoke about the bravery of all the officers today, but then Mayor Fulop, we just heard a moment ago, he mentioned how the chief and he were at the hospital and how they cried with the family of Detective Seals, a veteran officer of 15 years, as Karen said, 5 children, and tonight a family struggling, expecting to see their loved one come home, their husband, their father come home tonight, and now dealing with unimaginable loss. Horrific for the entire police family, horrific for Detective Seals' family.
And the chief saying that Detective Seals came out of the South District, which he said is one of the most violent ones that they have. He said Detective Seals was in the ceasefire unit and removed dozens and dozens of guns from the street.
Said he was a leading police officer in removing guns from the street.
Now, as to what unfolded today, he tells us Detective Seals was killed at Bayview Cemetery, not here, but it happened on Garfield Avenue at Bayview Cemetery. All he is telling us is that Detective Seals came upon 2 bad guys and was killed. And
the police chief confirming that they believe at this point that both of the gunmen were in fact men. There were earlier reports that one of the suspects might have been a woman, but the police chief saying, no, we believe that they're both men. And again, he spoke.
And the gunmen are dead.
The gunmen are dead. And he spoke about what played out. And we're showing you just some of the video from earlier today. As it unfolded, it really did sound like a war zone. And it's been described that way by people who witnessed everything that played out. The police chief said hundreds of shots were fired as his officers took gunfire for hours from 2 gunmen with a high-powered rifle.
Now, we also know 3 civilians were killed, 3 innocent bystanders. We do not know who they are, but the police chief saying he believes at this point they were killed by what he says, quote, bad guy fire. He believes they were not shot by police who were firing back, but he believes they were all killed, these 3 civilians, by bad guy fire. At this point, he says no weapons have been recovered. He also said that U-Haul truck that we've been talking about, and they treated as if pipe bombs were inside. He also believes that U-Haul truck was stolen, and the mayor saying at this point they do not believe this was linked to terrorism.
Right. Still, the bomb squad is looking at the device that they saw inside the U-Haul. It's being examined. And of course, very early on in the investigation, the police chief stressed that. He said it's basically still a hot scene. So they're in the process of gathering as much evidence and information as they can in the investigation right now. And he said it may well take months for this investigation to be completed. As for the other 2 officers who sustained injuries, the good news for them at least, one of them was shot in the shoulder, the other one shot in the body. They have both been released from the hospital tonight. Their families, no doubt, hugging them extra tight tonight.
And they've been identified as Officer Ray Sanchez and Officer Farinella Fernandez. Again, they've been released from the hospital. We do know there's 1 more civilian who's still in the hospital. At last check, that civilian was in stable condition. Jersey City Medical Center, they were also on lockdown. That lockdown has been lifted as well.
And we need to stress, the police chief made it a point to urge everybody. He was asked specifically about the motive, about what precipitated all of this. He says, we have no inkling what the motive was yet. And you know what, even if the police have a clue. At this point, it's so early on, they're not going to divulge that yet.
Right.
It's so early on in the investigation. They have so many people to interview, so much investigating to do at this point, that it's very early on to divulge any information, even if they had it at this point. You know, they're telling us basically what it is that the public needs to know tonight to restore calm in the area, because as you saw, there was just panic ensued in that neighborhood, one of New Jersey's largest cities, hundreds of gunshots ringing out. We saw eyewitnesses, we've heard the reports from the eyewitnesses before who were talking about just the way they felt and the panic, seeing everything that played out. And just it's remarkable, and I know you and Kurt were talking about this before also, how people were drawn to this. They were trying to record it on their phones. They wanted to see what was going on. Instead of running away from it, they were going towards it.
And it was hundreds of gunshots. But again, if you are just joining us at 5:39, Detective Joseph Seals, a more than 15-year veteran, married with 5 children, he has been killed in this incident. He was shot by what the police chief is calling bad guys. He came upon bad guys and was killed at Bayview Cemetery. The incident then continues onto this Jewish kosher deli that was on MLK Drive. More people killed there, including the 2 gunmen. 3 civilians killed. Police chief saying bad guy fired 2 gunmen. At this point, he believes those are the only 2 involved, but saying those 2 gunmen dead tonight. I don't know if you guys are able to get a shot of our laptop on the desk here right now, but NJ Chiefs of Police, they've just tweeted out a photo of what they say is Detective Seals. So hopefully I'm gonna just turn it around, and there it is right there. Yeah, it's right there. And they're writing this is Detective Joe Seals, who was killed in the line of duty today. He was a husband and a father of 5. He is a hero and died protecting the citizens of Jersey City. God bless his family and all of the JCPD members. But take a good look at this picture, guys, because this is Detective Joseph Seals. And in Darlene, she was first to get on that scene. There were gunshots ringing out as she was going live.
And she had heard from that eyewitness right toward the very beginning, who said the eyewitness saw these 2 gunmen dressed in black going into the kosher supermarket.
We're going to have much more on this coverage for the first time in a couple of hours. Let's go to a break, though.
We'll be right back with more.